Hi, good evening. I'm Colgan, and you're welcome to the Business and Enterprise Show, Ireland's only live web-based business TV programme with over 2 billion views across the world. And as always, we're coming to you live from our state-of-the-art studios in the Cavan Crystal Hotel on the Dublin Road here in Cavan. Now, today there was some very nice job announcement from Apple and Indeed. And at several conversations in the town, it's often come up that we rarely have an IDA visit or an IDA factory set up here in Cavan. But we don't have to worry about that, because our own Indigenous factories and our own Indigenous entrepreneurs is taking up the slack that FDIs is not producing. One of the businesses is based in Cootehill, in Cootehill, and it's ABCON Ireland, in fact. And I'm joined tonight by the Sales and Marketing Director, Lynn Sharkey. Lynn, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Colm. Thank you for having me.
In fact, we've had you many a time before.
Yes.
Dan, probably in your role, guys, as President of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
But you're here as the fella said, in the role of your day job.
I am.
You're the Sales of Marketing for ABCON. Who are ABCON?
Well, ABCON is a manufacturing company based in Cootehill. And we have 4 manufacturing divisions. We manufacture abrasive products, industrial rubber hose, we have a rubber lining division, and also we manufacture jacking pipe couplings. So it's quite a diverse range of products. We started off, ABCON was formed back in 2005, and by 3 Cavan men, Barry Smith, Paul Gilson and Sean Daly from Mulla, County Cavan. And they, as part of a management buyout of another local company called ATA, they bought the abrasives manufacturing division of ATA and started ABCON, and they were based originally in Belturbet. So we are the only converter of abrasive belts and discs in Ireland. So we can manufacture any size to order. So back in 2007, the company was growing at a really good pace, and we were outgrowing the premises in Belturbet. So the directors bought premises in Cootehill, which had been built back in the 1970s to house a company called Cavan McClellan. And Cavan McClellan manufactured industrial rubber hose. So it's for the bulk transfer of materials. Anything hose that transfers oil and gas, chemicals, food, fish, aggregates for the mining industry. So across all of those different sectors. And it had closed down. But when the directors bought the premises to house the abrasives business, they had a look at the machinery that was there, and they had a look at the market, and they decided, they had a look and realised that there was still a market for the product. So they restarted up the hose building, and we retained the Cavmac brand name for that side of the business, because it was obviously around since the 1970s. So it was well recognised.
Oh, 1970s.
Yes,
oh, real
yes.
vintage.
I'm actually around longer, but anyway. So that was, so we have the Cavmac brand is really all of our rubber products come under that Cavmac brand, and that's where that comes from.
Now, that's the manufacturing. We'll come back to the individual products. But who are your customers?
Well, our customers really range from, on the abrasive side, they would be mostly, say they're about 46% export, 54% domestic. And they range from customers in engineering, would be very strong in engineering.
When you say abrasive products, my idea of abrasive products is either sandpaper or sand belts or something like that. Is that what we're talking about?
That's exactly what we're talking about, but we would manufacture them for industrial applications. So in steel fabricators, stainless steel finishing. So engineering would be a very strong sector for us, and we're very much experts in the application of our products. So it's not just that we're selling a disc or selling a belt. We have the expertise on hand in terms of our technical salespeople, so they can go into our customers and look at how they're using the products, sometimes they can suggest better ways, maybe they can suggest a different speed for the tool, even something like that. And so why we have loyal customers is because we can offer them a solution that saves them time. And time is the biggest cost in any business, in any manufacturing business.
So your salesmen are very technically orientated as well. They're not just.
Well, yeah, we have a sales team in Ireland, and some of them are very strong in some areas, say in welding, in engineering. Some are stronger in woodworking. We also have products for the automotive and aerospace industries as well. So among them all, we have an expert in all of those fields, and they all obviously have a good broad range as well of expertise in everything, you know. But and we have technical sales support, which can support all of the reps as well. But yeah, no, they're all as I say, we service all of those.
What came
industries with
first?
expertise.
Were they salesmen who he's trained up to be technical people, or were they technical people who were trained to be salesmen?
Probably a bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. Good healthy mix of both.
Now, you said a lot of it is for export. What sort of countries do we export to?
We export to, certainly on the CAVMAC side of the business, we would export about 97-98% of our products. They would be exporting to the oil and gas industries. So North Sea, obviously, the United Kingdom. We export hose to America, to Australia, to European countries. Some of our hose has gone to Africa, you know, so pretty much all over the world. To those oil and gas sectors, mining and aggregates would be very strong as well. As I say, fish hose, hose for transporting food. You know, at a port side, dock side, you know, the ship to shore hose for transferring, whether it's like you know, oil and gas or dry materials as well. So you know, into the storage tanks at port side or whatever. So we would do the hose for that as well. So port side in various different countries on oil rigs, as I say, in mining applications as well. So yeah, broad range.
So when you're export, if you're selling to a factory in Virginia, you can keep in touch with them and call and eventually get an order.
Yeah.
If you export, great. We export to many countries. Did you say export? Half a dozen, dozens,
lots,
whatever.
Yeah.
How do you go about getting an export order?
Well, obviously,
first of all, how have they heard of, you know, Cootehill? Nobody has heard of Cootehill in America. So how do they find out about you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the CAVMAC brand would have been well known particularly in the oil and gas industry, you know, for several years. So we obviously have a strong website. That's really important to have a web presence and make sure that your keywords are good, so that when people are Googling for a certain type of product that you're coming up. We have agents in different territories as well. So obviously they are finding their key sweet spot customers or whatever, and they're working with them. And also we're Enterprise Ireland clients, so we would work with Enterprise Ireland offices abroad as well, and they're extremely helpful in helping us to network and find them. But you know, it has to be a mix, you know.
Because the competition, I would imagine, for particularly oil and gas exploration, you know, particularly the product can come from all over the world.
Yes.
What gives CAVMAC the advantage that, like you said, one of your customers in the States, there's 250 million people.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably 1 million businesses, maybe 10,000 businesses making rubber products in America alone. How come the CAVMAC brand was better for an American company than an American supplier?
Okay, well, first of all, our competitors would be huge companies, you know, global companies. Where we fit in is that we can offer a bespoke solution. So we have engineers on staff as well. So a customer can come to us with something that's a little bit different, and we have the flexibility, being a smaller company compared to our competitors, we have the flexibility to be able to fit it into production if it's urgent, so we can make it in a maybe a faster lead time. But we also have expertise and engineering know-how to make bespoke products for companies, you know, so we can solve a problem for them again, you know, an engineering problem. And again, it's that whole partnership, which actually works across all divisions of the business. You know, we work with our customers to help them find the best solution for their application, whether it's on the abrasive side or the rubber hose side, or the rubber lining division as well. So really, I think it's our customer relationship building. It's the fact that we can make to order a custom type product to suit an individual application. And I think it's also our flexibility, for sure.
Now, of course, you make it. Our kind of competitors are huge.
Yeah.
ABCON is no small little outfit. You have
110
of the
employees,
staff.
yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination here in Ireland. In fact, I don't even think we'd be classed as an SME. It'd be kind of with the big
actually,
boys.
I think you're an SME up to 250.
Oh, up to 250.
Yeah.
But by Ireland standards,
Yes.
a company with the turnover you have, with the staff that you have, and with the range that you have, would certainly not be a small business.
No,
and it's
growing.
compared to your competitors.
Yes.
So you're using that factor as an advantage.
Exactly, absolutely. You have to find your own unique selling point and your strengths, and I think that's what works. And stay true to your company core values as well. And offer something slightly different.
Now, the rubber lining. What's the process there? What's it used for?
Yeah, well, this was actually an innovation. Back in 2012, we had a customer for our hose who manufacture. They're an OEM, and they manufacture sand washing equipment, which is used in mines. So this equipment would handle a lot of aggregates, very corrosive materials. So it was basically, because we buy rubber is obviously one of our main raw materials. So it was just, I suppose, an innovative process where we said, well, actually, we could use this raw material that we have already to rubber line these steel parts for this customer and offer them, this service as well. So basically, we would have OEMs who would send us a design for a part of their machine, and we would have that made, and then we rubber line it by hand. And we get, you can imagine that they would come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, lengths, some small, some big. And the vulcanized rubber lining gives that part a longer life. So it just makes it more durable while it's handling all of those kind of aggregate materials.
Your very own invention.
Pardon?
Your very own invention.
Well, no, so other companies do it in the UK. But what we do is we take a chunk out of our customer supply chain, because with other companies what they'll do is they'll receive the part from the OEM, rubber line it and send it back. So what we do is they just have to send us the drawing, we have it made, we rubber line it, we paint it, we finish it, and we deliver it on site. Exactly.
Brilliant,
we've just offered something a little bit more.
And that's just something a customer came to you and said, can you do that? And you said, yes, we can do it. And then you've obviously sat around and said,
yes,
maybe more people would want that.
And
absolutely.
It's actually the fastest growing division at the moment in the company.
And are they four individual divisions, or do they kind of, is there a bit of cross?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose in the rubber lining and the hose, there is like maybe possibly more of a crossover. The jacking pipe couplings is new. This division we set up back in just March of this year. And that is manufacturing jacking pipe couplings for trenchless technology. So basically, what happens?
We'll start off with what's that, and what's the trenchless?
So trenchless is when
there's no trench.
There's no trench, exactly. So when pipes need to be laid, instead of opening up the ground the whole length of the pipe, they'll open it up at the beginning and the end, and then they push the pipes through the ground. And this makes it far less disruptive to, say, in urban settings. So going through a town like in Cavan last year, when they did the sewage scheme or whatever, they did trenchless where they could. And it's also more environmentally friendly. So basically the pipe manufacturers need a coupling which will join the two pipes together when they go into the ground. And it's got to be stainless steel, and it's got to, it's obviously to certain specifications, but it has a rubber insert, which is again why it's coming under our Cavmac brand, because there is that rubber aspect to the raw material of it. So the rubber is the seal, because obviously these pipes going through the ground, we don't want any leaks and that kind of thing. So our customer there would be pipe manufacturers.
So you don't make, people will have their own pipes?
These are pipes made from clay or polyconcrete, and they would be handling maybe sewerage or water. And so.
And what did they use before? Because pipes have been coupled since time immemorial, I suppose.
They would use these couplings. We're just new to. It's not a new invention on our part. It's something that another company did make before us or whatever. So. So we've been manufacturing since March. We have a couple of customers now for it, so it's doing well for us as well.
And you're always on the lookout for new and innovative products.
Yeah, I think that definitely that is a culture with our directors. You know, they're definitely always looking to see what fits, though. You know, what fits with our culture, with our core values, with our raw materials. You know, if it's something that would fit with what we do already. Definitely, there is R&D is something that's ongoing.
Yeah.
And innovation is something that the company really relishes and does aspire to for sure all the time.
You must have a big logistics division, because if you're getting rubber, I assume rubber comes from Malaysia, places like that, or am I kind of way out in history? You have to get that in, then it has to be and then it has to get maybe to a different part of the world.
Yeah, and we would buy our rubber from the UK actually. And so yes, but you're right. We don't have a logistics division as such. We have obviously some employees who look after the logistics for the company, and it is, you know, a big job. But we would have several companies that we would use depending on the territory that it's coming from or going to. You know, some and obviously you're always pricing as well to check and get the best rate. So yeah, it's logistics is really vital, a really vital part of the business too, for sure.
Do you source all your products in the UK, or anything come further afield?
Mainland Europe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So UK, mainland Europe, would be. Yeah.
And are they smallish? Are they box type products, or can you ship some hoses that can be what we nearly call abnormal lengths? You know.
Yeah, we would ship. You know, often it would be 40-foot containers. You know, so some hoses can be coiled, but some might be the length of the trailer. You know? So yeah, no, it would be on the hose side for sure. It would definitely be trailers that they'd be shipped in.
And the hoses, I suppose, from small diameter up to
from about 3/4 of about 75 mil and up. You know, so we do some quite large bore would be definitely one of our strong points. You know, or in terms of a USP and in terms of advantage, competitive advantage. We would do specialize in large bore. So so we do a variety of sizes for sure. Yeah.
Trade shows. Have you ever exhibited at trade shows either here or abroad?
Yeah, I think that we are attending a number of trade shows. You know, to obviously see what's going on in the various different sectors and industries. We've attended trade shows in Ireland for our abrasives products. So say there was an Auto Trade Expo in City West. But generally speaking, there would be certain trade shows that we'd be going to in Europe, just to sort of meet people, network, and see what's going on.
But as to take a stand to kind of show off your wares, you don't. There's no advantage to you at the moment for that.
I think it's more a case of there are so many trade shows that we want to be sure that we go to the right one, you know, and attend at the right one.
And of course, they can be very expensive.
Exactly.
In both costs and in time.
So that's it. So you want to make sure that you're I'm attending one in France next week actually. So it's just to see what you know. It's some of the trade shows now will arrange meetings for you. Yeah. And so you can pick some companies that you'd like to meet with, and you know other companies request a meeting with you. So I think they're quite useful. Business to business meetings and that kind of thing, you know. So
and I suppose something like that, where I have a specific need, and you seem to be a supplier. Maybe we will sit down and we will talk about it, as opposed to at a stand where, I suppose, to use an automotive phrase, people are coming along and kicking tires and saying, well, what do you do? People are collecting brochures so that they have a filing cabinet full of should they ever need. Perhaps the one-on-one meetings, might be more productive.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on the sector. I think definitely for abrasive, some of the trade shows like the Auto Trade Expo, some of those trade shows can be really good for us. But I think probably for some of our other products, the business-to-business meetings are definitely very
it's very special. Not to downgrade abrasive, but an abrasive is a fairly common product. A lot of people will need abrasive products, will use them. Whereas when you get into your hoses, when you're getting into your rubber lining and your couplings, they're specific people. So you could take a stand in a trade show, and you may not come across one person who would be interested because it's so specific. However, but when you do get a customer, you're able to develop
Exactly. We kind of know who our customers are, so it's a matter of approaching them and building a relationship with them and being there at the right time then when they do have a requirement, because there are definitely more products that are more long-term projects, and the abrasives then is more consumables.
So the business was started in 2005.
We're 10.
You're 10,
Yes,
but
yes.
probably 2 or 3 years, I'm just trying to think here, now 2 or 3 years into it, the whole world went into financial meltdown.
Yes.
Did that have an effect on the products that they were selling?
I think that what happened was, as I say, our directors are quite visionary, and they...
Don't tell me they saw the recession coming.
Well, I think a lot of people saw it coming, in fairness.
Sorry, they saw it coming and did something about it.
Yeah, and so what we did was we developed, obviously engineering and the construction sector were really hit with the recession, but we had just started to build our presence in the, say, motor factors and automotive sector, which stayed fairly strong. So we did have a little bit of a blip in, I think it was 2008. But then after that, we had started to export the hose again. So the export market really helped us continue to grow.
Yeah.
And thankfully, all of the divisions are growing. So
in that funny old way that international factors can have a huge effect on things. The price of oil is plummeting, and everyone is delighted. We can fill our tanks with diesel as well. But funny enough, not as cheap as you would have thought, looking at the price of it. But that's obviously then affecting, there's a knock-on effect. If we're not getting the same prices we're for a barrel of oil, we're not going to put the effort into looking for new oil. But that has a knock-on effect, does it, for a company in Cootehill, which services the oil industry? Absolutely.
It's, I mean, and they're talking now about how, maybe the price won't go up till 2020, but I mean, it changes every week, It definitely has had an impact. And because there are a lot of, say, projects that we've quoted for, but they're all on hold, until the price of the barrel price increases. But thankfully, we do sell into the mining industry as well, which has its ups and downs too. But we have a rubber lining division which is growing. So while we have been hit a little bit in the hose division, we've also been expanding our product offering, with, say, fish hose and food hose and other types of hoses, so we're not so dependent, on the oil and gas as well. So thankfully, we're still in growth. Of course, it would have grown a lot faster if the oil and gas market was stronger at the moment. But you just have to be aware of what's going on, and you have to have your plan B. And you have to always, I think, be ready for. I mean, if anybody who's servicing the oil and gas sector knows there's ups and downs in it. There's, it's a cyclical market. So I think that you have to make sure you don't have all your eggs in one basket.
That's what I think it was IBM that said stick to the knitting and do its best. But the fact that you haven't stuck to your knitting, that you have diversed, is possibly what has helped the company to grow.
Absolutely, yes,
but yet they're all interconnected. There's rubber, there's engineering. It's not like you're kind of doing computers and rubber hosing at the same time. Everything is there, is connected.
Yes, it's all, as I say, all true to our core values, true to our expertise. We're, as I say, always doing R&D. We have a lab which tests rubber for different applications and that kind of thing. So it's definitely what is common to all divisions is, when we are looking at R&D projects and possible innovations, it's all looking at it from every angle, and does it fit with what we do? Does it fit with our core values, And that's what the decision will be made on then.
Yeah. The future in products, and I suppose the talk now is that the recession is over, although I think the correct terminology from a government point of view is they're in recovery mode. How is ABCON looking to the future?
We're definitely looking to, we're always looking to improve. So, we would definitely be in continuous improvement mode constantly. So that goes to, not just our products, but to how we do our business, whether it's internally or externally. So, for example, we're going through Lean at the moment, so
not to be confused with lean times.
No, it's all about doing things better and more cost effectively and more productively. So that will help us. We are obviously always talking to our customers, seeing what they need. We're looking at technology, see how that can help us carry out our business better, more efficiently, more productively. So I think it's constantly learning. I don't think you can, people talk about sort of, 5-10 year plans. I'm not sure it's possible to make them really. I think, you have to look at the next year, and usually
that far ahead.
That far ahead.
God,
now we would generally have a 3-year plan, but you're really looking at this, at the next year, and I think being constantly aware of what's going on, constantly up to date on where you're at, and what's going on in all your markets, So I definitely, we're definitely going to grow more.
Yeah.
For sure.
You said something there, you're going through Lean at the moment, and then just something just shot in my head, and I said I may as well ask you. You probably know. Is there still the process of JIT just in time?
No,
a lifetime ago,
Yeah.
I used to work in shipping,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of international computer courses, and they all worked on the JIT system,
Yeah.
which means we had kind of a warehouse full of stuff, but they were looking for that day, so they had it, as the JIT says, just in time.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, was that just a fad?
No, I'd
Or
say
is that still in case?
it's definitely still an aspiration in, when you are in Lean, and I think it probably suits some raw materials more than others, but it's definitely an aspiration that you don't stockhold too much, too high a value or whatever, and that you turn it around as quickly as you can, for sure. So I would say they're probably calling it something different.
Something differently now,
Exactly, but definitely
Of course,
that,
again, there was a lot of computer companies at the
Yeah.
time, and you could have a box sitting in your desk worth $1 million, you know. So, like, if you didn't have to have that in your inventory, I suppose
Exactly.
there was some logic, but that was probably 20, maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And if it was any longer than that, I just refused to kind of say it. But when you say you're looking to the future, are you looking to add products? Or are you looking to add divisions? Like if you have, we'll say the rubber hose division, are you looking to do different types of rubber hosing? Or are you looking possibly for something different? No trade secrets have to be given out now.
No, I would say we're looking at innovations of our core product range. That's probably the way we will go. Now, that's
Yeah.
how it
Now,
sounds
yeah,
today,
it's an engineering company, and people would expect to see engineers, people in hard hats. But the fact that you have your own lab and your own R&D division, there's obviously the people who work there are right across the spectrum.
Yes.
There are people who have the engineering knowledge, and then there are technical people. In other words, there are people wearing white hats and some people wearing white coats.
Yes, absolutely. We had some TY students in from the local secondary school, St. Aidan's, there last week, and basically we're building a relationship with the school. We're donating some of our waste products that they can use in a junk couture project.
I think you'll definitely have to explain that to me.
Oh, this is where
Junk
students
couture.
Junk couture.
Yeah.
So basically, students make an outfit from waste products from industry. So there'll be some.
You've
lovely,
explained it to me, and I still don't understand it. Did anyone ask them?
I'll send you some
why?
photographs when they're finished. But so literally, we're talking to the teachers and saying, how we can get involved with the school, and one of them is, on career days. And literally, we could send someone from like lots of different job types to chat to the kids, from HR, quality, engineering, operatives,
Sales and marketing.
production, scheduling, sales,
We
and
all know
marketing.
how important that is.
Yes, and accounts, obviously finance. So it crosses everything really.
Just speaking of employees and stuff, is there any tie-up, or have you been speaking to the likes of the third level education here, the enterprise, not the enterprise board, the education board, to say, look, we're expanding, we're going to need these type of jobs. Do you want to start doing courses now, so that when we're ready, there will be jobs in the area for them? Is there any kind of tie-up there?
Yeah, no, I suppose I would have tried to do that when I was in the chamber. We do work with, we have, for the last 2 years, we've had a marketing intern from UCD, so a third-year student who's getting work experience. We also have had graduates from the Fusion programme, so we've worked with Queen's University in Belfast. Also, we've
You're a bit of a name dropper. Trinity, Queen's,
and then DKIT as well.
At last I can mention, that's okay.
So I think it's important to work with your graduates and students, and because even I know our marketing intern Fergal, he's so technology is so easy, digital marketing is so easy for kids his age, well, 20, 21-year-olds, because they've grown up with it, and Google AdWords, and so he does all of, that digital marketing for us. And so, it's important, keeps you fresh.
Absolutely. Staff, are the staff, we'll say from the Cootehill or maybe the extended Cavan region, or do people come further to work?
Yeah, from Bailieborough, Mulla, Ballyjames Stuff actually.
I'm glad Bailieborough got a mention, yeah.
Cavan Town, so County Cavan really,
Great place to work?
It is a great place to work. It's very positive energy, and it's a very open, people are encouraged to come up with ideas, and it's a great place to work.
So, well, it sounds like a great place to work, and it sounds like a fantastic business. As I said, it's an Indigenous Irish firm, it's an Indigenous Cavan firm, and it's doing the business here on the Business Enterprise Show. You have been listening to the story of ABCON from the Sales and Marketing Director, Lynn Sharkey. I've been Colm Colgan. You've been watching the Business Enterprise Show. Good night. Talk to you next week.